Okay, so it looks like we are starting. Hi Robin,
Hi, Senna.
how's it going?
Not too bad. I read the book the same day we had our last conversation, so it's been a little bit.
I know you're not
Um,
fresh. How could you, Robin?
I was fresh last time,
You're just like, I'm just gonna do it now and get it over with and not think about it for 7 more days.
which has been successful.
Well, that's not good. You're supposed to be here to think about it, Robin. It's like your only job.
Oh,
Come on.
come on now.
um, so we're back to talk about chapters 8 through 20? 8 through 20?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay, 8 through 20 of Black Ice. Just to remind everybody, we have the chat box if you guys want to comment. We're also going to be keeping an eye on the YouTube page in case you want to comment there instead. I think the comments there are more or less instant, so we should be able to see it. Also, to remind you guys that we're working on a bit of a lag, about a minute, 30 seconds or so, so it'll be not immediately. We won't respond to your comments immediately. Soul of the Dragon says that they finished the book already, which is totally cheating.
Totally. Yeah, he knows how that's going to end then.
I know.
Or she.
It's immediately disqualified, is what it is.
He's going to be teasing us throughout this entire thing, going, ha ha ha. I know exactly what we're doing here. So we did have a character reveal, a name different. Now, what do we want to call that character? Are we going by the old name or the new name?
I don't know. I mean, I'll probably call him Mason this week, and if they continue with the Jude shit next week, we'll probably call him that. I don't know. I think of him as Mason right now, so.
Okay.
So not a whole lot of stuff happening, but more than I kind of expected. Um, what did you think, Robin? Like as far as what we got in this 200-page chunk?
We learned a lot of the information that we were not quite sure about. I think we have more of a definite yes on your theory as to what the prologue was about.
Hmm.
But we still have some questions in there that they have not answered yet.
Um, oh, okay. Soul of the Dragon amended to say they just finished the part that they were supposed to read, and the chapters are super quick, and it's kind of difficult for me. I finished my bit yesterday, or not yesterday, Thursday and today, because they are super quick chapters, and it's hard not to just keep going. Like even if I don't necessarily like it that much, I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh, I can just read the next chapter. It's only gonna be like 5 pages. But
Yeah, they are the chapters really sped up for me, and it was harder to put the book down this time around.
yeah,
Still
it's.
have some issues with it, but the pacing is not one of them at this point for me.
You don't think so?
Is not an issue for me at this point. The pacing, no, not at this point.
I guess I guess the pacing's not an issue. I feel like the flashback chapters are really kind of padding out like a thin story here, and I'm not sure if I don't really care much for them. Like I get that she's trying to do character development, and that's admirable.
Mm-hmm.
um, but it's just not. I just like I don't care. I really don't care, and I think it's to make up to make up for Calvin's absence in the book. Because he's obviously going to be an important character one way or another once we get to like the last, like I'm sure the climax. Um, and I feel like the flashback chapters are to sort of like you know give him meaning for us. What do you think?
Yeah, I could do without it. I mean, I can see her flashing back on her life because she's terrified. She's afraid she's going to die. But they're always on Calvin. They're not focusing on her brother her father, her mother, her best friend Corby, they were
Yeah,
focusing on him specifically,
this is
which,
true.
if you're in a life and death situation, I think you would be focusing on everyone, not just one specific person. Actually, I have been in a life and death situation before, and it was on everyone. Um, I made sure that my mother was fine because she was with me at the time.
Hmm.
And then I went through my mind on family and friends. Didn't just focus on just one person. Once I
Right.
knew my mother was fine. So yeah, it's definitely it's relatable, but it's just too much Calvin and not enough. Let's get to know her more as a person and within her household, her family, things like that.
Yeah, it is very Calvin centric. It's I just like I get like that he's they're trying to make him a thing, and she's I guess I get that she's like fixated on Calvin as like her savior, because she's convinced that he's the one who's gonna come and rescue her from all of these bad men. But I kind of agree with Soul of the Dragon. Like the flashbacks make it obvious that Calvin is, if not the killer, then definitely an option. Um, and I'm
Especially
actually
after the shooting. So,
after what?
especially after the shooting.
Yeah, that was I was kind of surprised about that. Like that, I did not expect that to happen so soon. Um, so, you know,
It seemed conveniently contrived.
do you think?
Yeah, they disappear and they get back in time just in time to find Sean shooting him. Now, what would make it a little bit more suspenseful in my mind would be them showing up and Sean's already dead and Calvin's long gone.
And Calvin's what?
Long gone.
Well, yeah, but then you wouldn't get like that scene where they were like trying to be like ambiguous about whether or not the two of them knew each other, but they're kind of hinting that they knew each other. I mean that was a significant scene in terms of like what like laying the foundation for Calvin being the killer. Um and yeah,
Yeah,
I
but
was sorry, go ahead.
it just felt convenient to me. I mean, I understand why she did it that way. I think the setup needed to be up differently, or I don't know. I just kind of thought, well, that's kind of convenient that they got to see the entire thing there,
Yeah.
until like just the tail end, or
Yeah, what confuses me is that like Calvin was very obviously there for Brit, and he was acting very aggressively towards Sean, and Mason physically restrained um, what's her face Brit from going like to Calvin, and that confused me. I figured that he was doing it because he thought Calvin might be dangerous, and like he might have some insight on that as far as like knowing who Calvin is and what he did, but they never follow up on that.
not yet,
Like
anyways. No.
no, like if I totally expected Britt to turn around and be like, "What the fuck, man? Why didn't you let me go be rescued?"
But at
But
the same
she
time, if she's been abducted, that would be why she wouldn't be able to be rescued.
well, yeah, but I thought that she had gotten into the groove of like Mason is my ally kind of thing, and I just like I don't understand it from Mason's perspective unless he knows who Calvin is, and I don't know why Britt hasn't called him out on it. That's really weird to me.
I think Mason might be a cop at this point.
I think that's possible. I'm kind of leaning towards him being having like maybe an abducted sister or something, like because she was talking to him about how he felt now that Sean was dead, and she said something like you must be really devastated, and he says something along the lines of like yeah, it really bothers me, and I was like, oh, I wonder if like maybe Sean was his only lead to find like his kidnapped sister or something. That's my current theory. I don't know.
Yeah, he's seeming. Yeah, Britt is kind of dumb, definitely. Can't disagree with you there. He seems to be the genuine nice guy at this point, and I don't trust it. But at the same time, at this time, I'm not seeing enough evidence to suggest that he's actually the person she needs to worry about.
Yeah, I'm kind of split. Like, just like from a meta perspective, because I was pretty sure that Calvin was the bad guy when Britt was totally like hero worshiping him, like, oh, he's gonna save me, I'm gonna forgive him for everything he's done. He's a really good guy, and these guys are evil assholes. But now they've gotten to the point where they're kind of like, where she's like attracted to Mason now, and he is being like nice to her and sweet, and he's like, oh, I'm not holding you captive. It's just safer if we stick together. I feel like it's like, oh, have we gotten to the point where it would be more shocking if Mason was the killer? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, at this time it's kind of following Twilight.
How's that?
Oh, you're so cute, you can do no wrong,
I don't
even though
think
you're a bloodthirsty vampire.
I don't think she's gotten that point quite. Or are you talking about Calvin? Are you talking about Mason or Calvin?
um, Brett's view on Mason.
Really? Because I feel like she like Fitzpatrick is like going out of her way to like take Mason to task. Like almost like she was totally aware of the fact that a girl falling in love with her kidnapper is really creepy and could like get her in a whole lot of shit. And she's like, oh no, any attraction that I feel to him now must be like some form of Stockholm syndrome. And it's like, yeah, uh-huh, but you're gonna do it anyway. So like, lampshading it, not really fixing the problem. But
Yeah.
she's I
Well,
was sorry, go ahead.
we know of two victims of the killers. We had the prologue girl that no one likes, and then we have the girl that was named but never actually told a lot about the what was it, Whitewater Raptor?
Yeah, that one was only just that information was only just dropped, right, in that last chapter.
Hmm. That one, like, yeah, that first chapter or so in there. Um, so the question becomes, if Mason is a relative, is he going to be a huntsman or the Whitewater Raptor? Um, and they both sounded local, whereas he is saying he's from California. So I'm
Right.
not quite sure how that would work. There would have to be a third body in there, and so far it hasn't been mentioned.
Well, no, I mean he's from California, but they've also said that her Calvin was off studying in California too. It's entirely possible that he brought a girl back from California to the cabin to kill or whatever, which I mean kind of leans toward. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Calvin is the killer just because of the situation. Like, why would Mason, being from California, fly
Well,
somebody all the way out to the middle of but nowhere, Wyoming, or wherever the fuck they are?
that's what I mean. With Mason, I'm not quite sure how he would be related to the two victims that we are aware of yet, because both of the victims seem to be local,
I
whereas
know.
he's from California.
I'm saying that he's probably not related to any
Mm-hmm.
of the victims that we know about. He probably is I mean, I'm sure Calvin's had more than one victim or more than two victims. Like, plus there was that girl who was stuffed in the trunk. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know which one that was. It could have been. I'm sure. Basically, I'm sure they haven't told us about all of the people Calvin's killed. He probably like either killed or has kidnapped one of Calvin's relatives or whatever, or Mason's relatives rather. Um, but I don't know. Thinking it through, I'm still leaning towards Calvin being the killer. It's just it's becoming so obvious that it has become a red herring. I don't know, like how much how much overthinking I'm putting into it.
At this time, especially with the shooting, as ablom as he was when he shot Sean, I would have to agree with you. I think he might be the killer in that area. He knew
Right,
to have a gun. He knew where to go. Kind
right. And
of.
he has all of these places marked on his
Mhm.
map,
And
which
then, of course, it ends with all the bodies being marked on the map as well.
right, right. Yeah, so I'm kind of curious. It's so obvious. Like they're making there's so many like hints. It's I don't know. Um. Anyway, so was there anything in particular that you noticed in this chunk that you wanted to talk about that we haven't talked
No,
about already?
and no. I'm not really sure I want to read the next 200 pages, but we committed to it, so I guess we'll be reading it. And
Yeah.
I kind of get the feeling that you're in the same boat, considering you were saying, "What did I do to myself here?"
Yeah, it's admittedly not as bad as I expected. The writing's still shit. Like the flashbacks reminded me a lot of what Holly Black does in her books, where she'll just flip to years before and weave flashbacks in and out of the thing, but she actually does it with like skill and
She
ability.
makes it known how it's relevant, whereas I'm not quite sure how it's relevant with Fitzpatrick, other than just trying to um, establish the boyfriend as the killer.
Right. And and again, it feels like padding because it feels like the actual story is really thin. Um, like I was telling you when we were talking about it on Twitter, like I mean, I guess I know where it's going in that now her and Mason have to survive and get to the cabin, but I feel like that should not take up another 200 pages. I'm sure something else will happen, but it just seems like the threat is gone. Now that she's
Yeah,
dead. So I guess the conflict now is just the weather, but it's like, where is this thing going?
yeah. Well, yeah. There was also the question that I came up with: is that she knew that the jet ski, I think it's what it
The
was outside the
snowmobile?
house. Yeah, the snowmobile.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And instead of grabbing that and running with it, she
Yeah.
decided to go on foot.
Well, did she know where the key was?
Mentioned one way or the other of her even thinking about looking for it.
I mean, I guess that's true, but on the other hand, she was trying to sneak out while they were sleeping, and that's kind of, you know,
Yeah, but if she can sneak out and the wind, she can't even hear Calvin leave on the thing because it's so windy.
yeah, but I mean, it would have been the smarter thing, but I kind of don't blame her because she was trying to sneak out. Like, I probably wouldn't have searched for the key very much.
It was something that I thought that she needed to at least consider before running off, but Spawn of a mountain demon attacks Britton Mason.
Right? It's suddenly going to be a paranormal romance. um, have you managed to form feelings about Mason yet? Like, do you have an opinion on him as a character?
He's the typical cliche, protecting you even though you don't necessarily want me to at times, but yeah, I'm also going to be the bad boy here.
Yeah.
Me.
Um. Yeah. He's kind of he's not like the kidnapper prick that I expected him to be, but he's kind of generically an asshole. Like there's a part in it after he and Britt run away from the burning building, where he gets mad at Britt because she's afraid of him and she's concerned that he might rape her. And he gets huffy with her. He's like, hold on, I bookmarked it because it was so fucking obnoxious. He's like, you
I've
think I
always, I've had sex before, but they've always been willing, kind of a thing.
Yeah, you think I'd hit you? Your brain is going wild trying to imagine the sordid requests I might make of you in exchange for helping you to Idlewild. Don't bother denying it. Your revulsion is written on your face. Well, you can stop panicking. I won't force myself on you, and I'll try to look past your thinking I would. What? What kind of flaming dickbag says that kind of thing to a person he literally kidnapped? Like, I'll try to look past your being afraid of me, your kidnapper. Like, what a cock. Seriously.
Yeah, and then he gets upset with her because she didn't take his offer for clean, warm socks before she left.
For what?
The socks.
Oh,
He makes a
yeah.
big deal out of the socks.
Yeah, and it's just
Um,
like, he's like one of those dudes who, like, gets mad because, like, a girl crosses the street. Like, oh, you were afraid that I'm a rapist. It's like, well, I mean, she doesn't know you. You could totally be a rapist. Maybe you should stop being a dick, and have a little more empathy. And he's like, no, I'm so offended that you're afraid of me, your kidnapper. Ugh.
who kept you from getting a hold of Calvin
Right,
at
right.
Harvest?
Exactly. Oh my God. Like, if nothing else, the fact that he kept her from going to Calvin and being, rescued as far as she knows, and hasn't, like, even tried to explain why is, like, what the fuck did you expect? Ugh. Like, I mean, uh, asshole.
Being an asshole's a new gentleman, huh? Um, Unfortunately, it's probably more true than I want to admit.
And then he's like getting all like huffy with her because she's um she'll have to report him to the police. It's like, well, you did kidnap her.
And he's surprised that she had water with her.
Oh, I know, he's so condescending too. That was the other part I bookmarked. Hold on. There's that part where yeah, where he finds her and she da, 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 da. Where is it? Yeah, he found her with all of her stuff and he's like, pull yourself together. You've been tested physically, and now you have to be mentally tough. We're going back to the outpost. We're going to pretend like nothing happened. It's like, it's so condescending. It's like, yeah, where's the tough little girl that I knew before? It's like, you don't know her, and you have absolutely no right to talk down to her like that. To tell her to pull herself together. Like, what the fuck did you expect to happen? Seriously. Ugh. Yeah, I don't know. I've formed solid feels on Mason, and they're not good.
I get the feeling, though, that for whatever reason, he's going to end up being the good guy, and they're going to end up in a long-term relationship.
Oh no, I
And
mean, I'm there with you. If he does not turn out to be the killer, he's going to be the love interest, which is really gross to say, by the way. But
she has no self-respect for herself with that kind of behavior from him.
right, and they're framing it very like the way they framed him being angry that she thought that he might be violent or a rapist and him getting all offended. It's not framed in like a he's being an asshole sort of way. It's framed in like a she's being unreasonable sort of way. It's like, you know what? She's actually not. She's really, really not being unreasonable.
Because at least here she's got Fitzpatrick puts in the thought, hey, he might rape me, whereas in the prologue that as we discussed earlier, didn't even cross Warren's mind.
Did she actually think that though? Because I didn't. I mean, he says that, but I don't. I
Well,
didn't
I
see
think it
that
was
she.
implied by how she kind of reacted, like, oh god, maybe I can just kind of close my eyes. I don't have it marked. But I think it was pretty well implied that's kind of what she was thinking, especially when he started bitching at her about it.
Oh, hold on. Oh yeah, you're right. Because she says she'd avoided any serious speculation about what she might have to do to survive, and she'd send her mind to another place. Yeah, you're right. She does think that. That's true. At least they acknowledged that, and then he got angry with her for thinking that was a possibility. And then, like, one page after that, they're talking about how her boyfriend was so dumb to break up with her and all of that shit. Like, what? How can you go from this guy might rape me to man, he's cute, and now we're gonna have a heart to heart about my BS? Although,
And myself, because he also says something along the lines of, I think you pretend to be more helpless than you actually are around your friends and
ugh,
your family.
I know that shit too. Like, you don't fucking know her. stop, stop! Like psychoanalyzing this girl that you've kidnapped. You fucking creeper. The way he
Yeah,
talks. Sorry, go ahead.
yeah, I think that he's got to be some kind of enforcement. He's got to have training. I'm wondering if he's one of the cops on there, up in the woods. He knows how to track. He knows how to survive in the cold, in the snow. Um, Obviously, he knows how to track. That's how he keeps finding her. Um, I think that's what his point is on that. But you also kind of got to consider that he's also under a lot of strain too. He's trying to keep everyone alive, and so far he's seen two people die while he was trying to keep at
I
least one
mean,
of them alive.
but we don't know if he's actually
Yeah,
trying to keep anybody alive. All we know is that he, for some reason, was with Sean and is for some reason bothered that he's dead, but they didn't give any indication that he had any sort of emotional attachment to Sean. It just seemed to be like a using each other for mutual, gain situation.
but he
So,
tried to protect the cop who showed up,
right.
and
I
the
mean, he
cop
did do
died.
that, yeah. Yeah,
So
but
he's trying to keep people alive. He's seen two people die, and he might be hiding the emotion behind that, but he might also be under a lot of strain. We don't have the information. We don't know who he is yet. That's part of the problem in that area. If he's a good guy and he's under a lot of strain, him snapping at her might be realistic, even though it is a jackass kind of thing to do. Um,
if he's a cop though, there's no reason for him not to tell her right now. Like
yeah,
he's supposed to be doing everything, like they're making it seem like he's going out of his way to make her feel safe, like, giving her his hat, giving her his boots, uh, you know, making the fire and the shelter and stuff. But if he is a cop and he were trying to make her feel comfortable, he would just fucking tell her what's going on. But no, we have to drag it out because they've already basically dropped the Calvin bomb halfway through the goddamn book.
yeah, but the only thing I could think of for why he wouldn't tell them at that point would be if he is a cop, would be that he's hoping to get more information out of her, and she might shut up if she thinks that she'll get Calvin into trouble. Whereas if she's talking to a supposed kidnapper, um, who's going to be in jail anyways, why not confess since he'd have no way of proving anything in that area. But I don't know, that could definitely be a long shot in that one.
I don't know
And
that I don't know that necessarily I don't know that it makes sense to me. Like, I feel like she would be more willing to open up to like somebody with legitimate authority than she would be to her kidnapper. Like, it seems so counterintuitive to whatever he's trying to get out of her. I mean, it does seem like he's trying to get information out of her because when they talk, he asks her a whole bunch of questions about Calvin and whether or not she's been to Stanford and if she knows the area. And yeah, he does really interrogate her quite a bit. So
Yeah.
I
And if
don't know.
she, well, my thinking is he might be thinking that, if I tell her I'm a cop, she's not going to tell me any information about Calvin that she might think might get him into trouble, and then I lose the case, especially since I don't have all the information I need already. But like we don't have enough information. Like you said, he could be the brother or cousin or some relative of one of the victims,
Boyfriend,
and he's been
maybe.
doing his own research.
I think that's probably the
So
most likely
it's
scenario so far.
yeah.
Soul of the
So
Dragon
it's
thinks
just
that
hard to
he's
tell. We don't have
undercover.
enough information on it yet.
Yeah, like I
But
said,
even if he's undercover, they're the only two there.
yeah,
Like you said, why not reveal it?
yeah, I mean, In Too Deep, you can do a lot of things when you're undercover and get away with it. Like, even, I mean, he did try to save that cop or that ranger. Even killing the ranger seems like, I mean, he has Britt as a witness. He's you know, he can salvage that situation. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think he has any official authority. I think he's just doing it. Um, what's the word? Like an amateur investigation. Um, Other thing I was kind of disappointed about is that Britt isn't getting her like she doesn't have a whole lot of like doing it for herself kind of thing. She's so far
She's in an agency, yeah.
yeah, she's just like I was really hoping for her to just like outwit the dudes herself, but so far I mean Mason's saved her, Calvin saved her from Sean. She just there's not a whole lot of movement in that area. It's kind of disappointing. I guess not unexpected, but still disappointing.
Well, we women are stupid and unable to do anything for ourselves.
Right, we require a dude to pat our head and congratulate us when we think to bring water with us into the forest when we're hiking. We also require random kidnapper dudes to congratulate us on our grit and ingenuity. She's just basically like a big pile of like, acknowledge my skill, sort of.
I can do things in the man's world. Yay!
Yeah, and Corby's just like,
Corey's
Corby's
completely
out
out
of
of the
the
picture here.
picture. Yeah. Yep, we were wondering what was going to happen to Corby, and the answer is nothing. Just left her behind.
Well, yeah, but there's still that idea of if Calvin's the killer, um, how is he going to react when he finds Corby? Is he going to be, hey, I'm here to rescue you, or is he going to be, now what did you find out about me?
Yeah, I'm kind of curious to see how he like I figured the reason that Mason kept Britt from going in when Calvin was there with Sean was because he thought Sean might kill her or not Sean, Calvin might kill her because she knew too much. So yeah, I'm also kind of curious to see how he eventually reacts to Corby and Britt when they're inevitably reunited. I'm also kind of curious to see if Corby might be in on it somehow. Like that might be putting a little too much like reading complexity into it, but I thought maybe it might be the twist since it feels like
That
Calvin
last
being the
one?
killer isn't even a twist anymore.
Oh, you got more for you.
What'd you say?
Lori walked in on me.
Oh,
So my question is, how is Mason related to Sean and Calvin still? It looked
Hmm.
like that Sean and Calvin knew each other, but Mason and Calvin did not recognize each other when they were in the store. They didn't
Right.
indicate in any way that they did.
That's true.
And I don't think Calvin would have been as bothered about um, Britt dating Mason if he knew who Mason was and could have gone, "Oh, hey, bro, my ex-girlfriend here thinks that the two of you are dating," and that would be the perfect way to turn it on her.
Right.
In that way. And then I I'm not quite sure how that would work in that area. Calvin's
Yeah.
gonna kill Corby to prove he's insane.
That's entirely possible.
It
Corby
is
Corby might be our sacrifice, like our shit's getting real sacrifice.
our POC, yeah.
um,
But at the same time, they're brother and sister, so she might be the one defending Calvin, going, "Oh, the girls are slutty," and turning on all the girls that he killed. So,
I doubt it. I think Soul the Dragon is onto it because they did show those scenes between Calvin and Corby in the flashbacks that sort of put that rivalry between them. Like he's obviously resentful of the way that the parents treat him as opposed to her, and Corby doesn't seem to have all that much affection for him. So yeah, I think that's that. I think Soul the Dragon called that one.
yeah, well, we'll see what happens. Who knows what we'll find out in the next 200 pages,
I
considering what
know.
she's already revealed in the
I know.
first half.
I Yeah, I still don't know what the fuck, like how this is another 400 pages. Like
I think
they
it's another 200 pages.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's what I meant, Robin. Um, yeah,
Well,
it
you kept
just
correcting me last time. It's my turn to correct you.
it just seems like there's really nowhere to go from here. I mean, it didn't even take them that long to cross however far they needed to cross to get to the ranger station. Like it,
Mm-hmm.
you know what it's probably going to be? It's probably going to be like another 100 pages of like Stockholm
Kissy, kissy,
romance.
kissy.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you totally called that one. It's going to be building up Mason and Britt and their relationship or whatever, interspersed with fucking Calvin flashbacks. Because it's always about the dudes.
Mm-hmm.
Even if they're like psychopathic killers, it's still all about the dudes.
Uh, what did you get us into here? So
I
nothing.
know. I mean it is not as bad as we thought it would be, is it? It's not as bad. If it were like Britt and Sean left together, that would be probably about what I expected. But this is obnoxious, and Mason is totally a dick. But it is not. He's not as bad as Patch. I won't say that. Like he doesn't seem to actually want to kill her.
No, he doesn't seem to want to kill anyone. I'm not quite sure. Like I said, he didn't even seem to know about the body that she found.
Yeah, you're right. I wonder if Sean knew about the body. He made a big deal about whether or not she told Sean that the body was there.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
I'm kind of wondering if that's because he's going. Now, if she told Sean might have gone downstairs and hid it someplace else and buried it, so I won't be able to find it.
It's possible that he was afraid that she might, like, if she knew about the body and told somebody else that she knew about the body, that it might mean that she'd seen too much. There's a part when they're talking around the fire where Mason asks her, "Do you by chance remember Calvin's SAT score?" And she says, "Why do you care?" And Mason says, "Just curious if he beat me, if he's smarter than me." And that was such like a weird interaction. um,
Yeah, and of course, you automatically just happen to know those numbers. I don't know what I scored on mine. I did at the time, but I don't remember what my score was.
well, to be fair, they're not super far removed from it. Um, but I wonder if maybe that's like something that he knows about his sisters or his girlfriend's killer. Like maybe she was also bragging about Calvin's SAT score or something.
I don't know.
It's just
Isn't it statistically, aren't most serial killers have higher above average IQs?
I mean, it's possible. I don't have the data right here in front of me, but it's such a weird thing to
It's almost a I'm trying to impress you kind of a thing.
yeah,
I'm smarter than him.
yeah, but that's such like a weak excuse.
Yeah,
It just
but
struck me as like it's either bad writing or like a clue. Uh,
mhm.
Mariska says that she knows how Corby's plotline is resolved, and it's infuriating no matter how annoying she was. So that
Sounds
sounds a
like
little
it.
bit like
Yeah.
Soul's right.
Yeah, definitely.
Hmm. See how these people knowing more than us?
Reading ahead. What are we gonna do with them?
Um, it's either
Foreshadowing or a
foreshadowing.
dick measuring contest. Maybe a mixture of both.
I know. Yeah. A dick measuring contest, totally. That that's just such a weird way to measure dicks, you know? It's like, oh, what was his SAT score? You'll be more impressed with mine if I'm smarter than him. I'm also your kidnapper, by the way. Like, that's such a dumb thing to worry about. Well, is there anything else you wanted to chat about, or anything you wanted to talk about before we stop? We're about 15 minutes early, but I don't want to drag it out if we ain't got nothing to say, yo. And I guess we could toss it out to you guys. Is there anything that you guys wanted to talk about or had thoughts on? And while we wait, Robin.
Yeah, any thoughts or opinions on that end? I'm probably too far removed from what from what I've read on here already. I think we've basically covered it. I mean, Mason is my main question mark right now.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think of it being something as simple as a bank robbery that they were running from?
It was a subway robbery. It wasn't even a fucking bank. It was a
Subway,
subway.
yes.
That's pretty low key, man. Like, why are you running from the cops for robbing a subway? I mean, I guess I know why, but like, it doesn't seem like they should be so paranoid. Well, he did say they shot a cop, didn't they?
Yeah.
Like the guy didn't die, but yeah, okay. I can see that.
And it was so minor other than the shooting of a cop that I'm kind of like, really? That's it? That's why they're panicking?
Yeah. Yeah, I
Wow.
don't
I guess the cops would be after them a little bit harder than if it was just a subway robbery.
no spoilers.
No spoils.
No spoilers. We'll get to it eventually in a couple of weeks.
You can watch us make predictions that are wildly inaccurate.
Right? She's right.
Or completely accurate.
Listen to our terrible predictions. Um yeah, it's yeah, I think they're trying to not really make them hardened criminals. Because I think at this point we're still supposed to think that Sean was the fucking the Stetson killer, right? Like
Hmm.
they haven't really done anything to make Britt realize that it was probably not him.
Yeah, if I
So
was reading this as a teenager and for entertainment and not criticizing it, not evaluating it, I
mm,
probably wouldn't have given Calvin shooting Sean a second thought. I probably would have gone, oh, well, he's protecting her.
right.
But with us doing the evaluating, I think it's kind of obvious what that actually means.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I do have to give her credit for even like Brit. Like Brit's trying to rationalize Calvin shooting Sean, but even Brit says that she's bothered by the fact that he just killed him, and then set the
But
house
she
on
also
fire.
says she's not
Like,
surprised.
did she?
Mm-hmm. He said, "Do you think that was kind of out of character for him? Are you kind of surprised that he did that?" No, not really.
Oh, well, I got from that she was trying to not show her doubts. Like she was just trying to save face in front of Mason because she didn't want him to think that she was afraid of Calvin or doubting him or anything, or that it could be something darker. I don't know. Um, yeah. I don't know. I guess we'll have to see. We'll have to see what happens. Well, so you just want to go ahead and wrap up then?
Yeah, unless you have something else on that, and it's not looking like Mariska or the Soul of the Dragon have anything that they want to hear us discuss at the moment.
All right. It's so weird doing something broken up like this because we don't have a whole book to talk about, but we also, these chunks aren't super informative. I mean, granted there was a pretty big twist in this one, but it's still just like 100 pages.
Yeah, unless you had something that you thought was relevant to Mason being named Jude or anything like that. I
No.
really don't have anything else.
Nope. I mean, I guess if it's relevant, we'll find out. Yeah, so I guess that would make us done about 12 minutes early, and we still got
That's surprising
relatively.
considering how long we usually talk.
I mean, we got a relatively decent length conversation out of 100 pages. So, next week will be chapters what, Robin?
21 through question. What's the others?
That's right.
You're in charge.
Google it. I'm looking. I'm looking. It's gonna be chapters 21 through 32.
32.
So another 100 pages of fun and probably mountain snow sexy times or something.
Yeah, well, we'll see if they actually go the full way, try and keep warm, or actually stay chase. Let's put it
Yeah, I
that
know. Yeah, I don't really see them. I don't see them getting it on. This is for children, Robin.
way. No. We've read books for young adults where sexy time like that did actually occur.
Yeah, we have. I've read some pretty disturbing, but like, your audience is teenagers, right? This feels like a little much. Um, all right. Anyway, so thanks you guys for hanging out with us and your comments. We had 2 people commenting this time. That was very fun.
Yes, it gives us a little bit more variety and a little bit more of a conversation.
Yes, we do appreciate your input because obviously there's only the 2 of us and we can only have so many thoughts. They're very limited quantity.
Don't forget to invite your friends to join in next week.
Yes, tell your friends. We can all sit together and talk about terrible, terrible books that are shitty. All right, and yeah, so next week, same time, same bad time, same bad channel. Um, tell your friends. And if you guys want to, you can always tweet your thoughts at or using the Paper Cuts Read Along hashtag, which is where Robin and I tweeted each other.
Yeah, so
So,
if you're following around, and don't be afraid to respond to any of our tweets.
right, yeah, no, feel free. We will happily, preemptively bitch. So, all right. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks to you, Robin, for hanging out and talking.
Not a problem.
All right. Well, we'll see you guys again next week.